We are continuing on with part 2 of my story about how my family has gotten sick, the whys of my illness, the whys of the deaths of the people in my family, why I attribute to everything AW speaks about in Brain Saver book, which I will be giving 5 of these away if somebody can say in the comments who AW is. Again, I'm going to be sending out the first 5 people who put in the comments who AW is. I am going to send you this book from AW. It has a wealth of knowledge, and it's something that I go to for everything in life. Everything in life. I recommend it to everybody. Anybody I know, I try to send them a copy. If I know you and I have your address, I am going to try to send you a copy. If I've got your last name and everything, I'm just going to try my best to make sure everybody has a copy and everybody will stay healthy. I would always do a call to my aunt to see how she was, and on this particular day she was not feeling herself. I found out that she had died of a heart attack or a stroke. She was ill. She was always craving salt, and AW of Medical Medium speaks about this as well. On page 112 in the Brain Saver book, he states, brain and nerve cells are different from any other nerve cell in the body. They require ample amounts of trace minerals to do their job. Other nerve cells in the body don't require as many trace minerals. Keep in mind that salt is not the same as trace mineral salts that are bioavailable and have other materials bonded to them. Consuming plain salt is similar to consuming processed sugar. Consuming salt is similar to consuming processed sugar. It is not the right kind of sugar the brain needs. It's missing most of its mineral content and becomes something different inside the body. I used to live in a big city, and the people that no longer could afford their homes were in the streets sleeping and asking, "Change, please?" Then when I moved over 3,000 miles from my previous home, I would hear it again and again. And I have no television. I own no television. So I heard it, and this time I heard it that I needed to change, please. And I still needed to change. So I'm working on me to make those changes. And maybe somebody will answer this question. Why is it that we have money to support wars and not enough money so our citizens can have a roof over their heads? I think I said this in the first segment. War supports no one. We're in the middle of 2 pandemics, and we're allowing citizens not to have a home. That's crazy. Everybody should be able to afford a home, a roof over their head, because what hurts one person hurts all of us. I'm going to repeat this. What hurts one person hurts all of us. What one person lacks, we all lack in some form or another. Repeat this. When my sister broke up with the not so good guy, the one that passed on the sexually transmitted disease to her, I had her come visit me and her daughter, stay for a while. We had to actually get her a service car because she couldn't navigate. I believe she again had those mini strokes. She had missed her flight. She couldn't keep her food down. And when she was staying with us, we always just argued all the time. I kind of knew she was sick because she didn't look well. She was staying in bed, but she was also having the bad foods. Her brain wasn't right. She was putting like ketchup with cups, open ketchup in a cup inside the cabinets. So the ketchup was not in its packet. It was actually in its cup inside the cabinet. There were a lot of weird things she was doing that I started to have concerns over. I tried to tell her to stay with us, but instead, we just kept getting into argument. Now, keep in mind, I was sick myself, trying to recover from my own issues while supporting one of her daughters that lived with me. And again, I would have some of the repeat issues of my sister with her daughter, but we'll get into that later. I'll tell you, I told my sister to move in with me, but she kept saying that her doctors were not here in this state. She acted like the doctors were some gods of some sort, like the only ones that could cure her. No one knows your body like you do. Yes, the doctors can speculate just like you can, but no one person knows your body like you do. That is if you want to know your body, because it speaks to you like a person does. Just watch all the signs. All we have to do is just listen and watch. The body will talk to you. It gives you signs of acne. It gives you signs of warts to let you know something is wrong, that something does not belong there. My sister did not want to stay, so she went right back home. I had started to move again, and a friend of mine had told me about medical medium. I started on the protocol that I told you about, and I will tell you again, I stayed with medical medium protocol and his supplements because I found a difference with his supplements because they were clean supplements. They didn't have any hidden ingredients in them. I did the lemon water. I waited 15 to 20 minutes. I did the celery juice. I had 32 ounces of celery juice in the morning. And then I waited 15 to 20 minutes, and then I proceeded with the liver rescue, which is the apple, the salad. And again, I'm going to repeat it. I had a huge difference. I spoke about my eye issue and not being able to see out of the eye. When I had to go to that eye to the emergency room because my friend had said I could have done a lot of damage. I hated doctors. I hated emergency rooms. But I was trying to also work on my stubbornness. I was trying to improve myself. I was trying to work on the issues that I knew I needed to change. So I listened to her. After $7,000 plus $7,000 plus dollars later, test after test, no outcome except to go on the antibiotics. She drove me home, and I started to look at AW Medical Medium page. What stood out with that one eye, because in the last segment I told you I only had one eye that I could see out of. But what stood out of that one eye when I looked at his supplement page was Eye Bright and mullein garlic eardrops. I am so sure that I have an angel by my side guiding me, because when I did the eye drops, the garlic, mullein and garlic, and the celery juice, I not only did the celery juice in the morning, I also did the celery juice in the night, because the details matter. AW keeps telling us all the time, the details matter. So I had done the celery juice in the morning, and as well as in the evening. I had the lemon water in the evening, and then I had the 32 ounce of celery juice. Now, mind you, if you get diarrhea with the celery juice, you need to kick it back a notch. You need to not have so much, because your body's trying to tell you, no, not at this time. It cleared up with a tremendous amount of pain. So much pain, it was unbelievable. I had itching in my ears. I had this pain that would just shift from the left eye to the right eye. I mean, so much pain, like somebody was actually stabbing me in the eye with a knife. I was still on that protocol today. I mean to stick to it like glue, because when I don't stick to it and I go off of it, I feel a shift. After that pain shifted from one eye to the other eye, I started to have a tremendous amount of back pains. Lay on the floor on my back, my knees to my chest, rocking forward and backward. The yoga rolls. I mean, the pain in the back was just as painful, if not more, than the eye. I had to stay on the floor for a long period of time talking with this thing in my back. I just kept thinking the movie Alien kept coming to my mind. So I came to this conclusion that if if you go on to medical medium's protocol and you use the supplements that he recommends, I can guarantee you that you will be better. Probably no dentist, no glasses. But I also say stay away from the chicken, the fish, the beef, all live animals, the fish, as well as from the chemicals. I'll talk about that. I recently had to have the apartment sprayed with who knows what for mold, and they had to come in again. So I think in the other segment, you should see one eye is bigger than the other. So they came in and they sprayed again, but I'm not staying here, so I'm moving soon. So that should rectify that issue. My niece had lived with me when she first arrived here. Then she wound up getting married, in my opinion, too quickly, had a child, consumed coffee. She had a traumatic event. She did not heal that traumatic event. And then she had another traumatic event because her mother died. My niece was enrolled in a medical class, and that was enough stress, along with trying to keep her relationship and her child moving forward. My sister had passed away of an overdose of prescription pills that she had forgotten she had taken. Long story short about my niece, as we were cleaning my sister's house, my niece had a panic attack and was rushed to the hospital. We had additional help. All the work was placed on one person, and that was this niece that I was trying to help. My niece got home. Within a few months, she had gotten a divorce. She had stress after stress after stress. She moved in with me for a few months, and all we did was argue. You see a pattern here? She kept drinking her caffeine, eating her eggs, chicken, cigarettes, marijuana, and the doctor was giving her prescription pills. And I felt like it was the same as her mother, except she didn't have as many operations. I don't believe she had any operations. I had been paying the bills. I had been taking and picking up her daughter from school. The baby complained. I picked up the baby, and she had complained that she could not hear out of her ear. So I told the mother, please stop feeding the baby fast foods, processed foods, citric acid, artificial flavors, colors, sugar, wheat, soy, corn, no salt, no oils, dairy, eggs. The no foods on AW's list. Again, I'm going to add the chicken, beef, fish, all seafood, because I see a difference with them. When they are on the chicken, the beef, the fish, they seem angry, resentful. So I say take off live meats. Anyway, with the baby, what I did was I put the baby back onto the liver rescue protocol as per his instructions in the book. Prior to that, the baby was on medical medium protocol because she had the baboon. She had started acting autistic less than a week after that injection. She was 5, and she started banging her head on the cabinets. And then she wasn't speaking correctly. You see a pattern here? You see a pattern with the young nephew from before? So I had put her back on the liver rescue, and we had such success of using his protocol. The only problem was, and I also gave her the supplements. Let me backtrack. I put her on the liver rescue, and I also had the supplements. AW states the details matter, and the details do matter. I gave her lemon water. I waited 15 to 20 minutes, then the celery juice. And what the baby taught me is to kind of swoosh it in your mouth, leaving it, swooshing it to one cheek to the other cheek like you're gargling, but you keep your mouth closed like that. That's what we did. And I also gave her the natural honey every day. So she would have the honey for her brain, because AW talks about having the sugar for the brain, the natural sugar. My point in all this is the baby was much better after we got the baboon out of her body and changed her diet. It took a lot of patience, because she would tell me her foot hurts, and I would massage her foot. And then it was her knee hurt, and then I would massage her knee. And then her hips were hurting, and then I would massage her hips. And it seemed like this thing was moving again from bottom to top, from top to bottom. So it took a lot of patience, understanding, because of the emotions associated with the metals and the baboon. People, a lot of support from lots of friends became because my stress was elevated, especially supporting 3 people, myself included. It was very, very difficult to support 3 people with one income. It was very difficult. And like I said, I just noticed how they both changed with the chicken. Years of watching my mother, my sister, my boyfriend, my aunt, my niece had changed so much that she was not the same person from when her mother had died. This person was, my niece had turned mean, forgetful, resentful, and the baby was following right behind her. So again, it was just, and I was at a new job, so it was really difficult. The baby school called me to pick up the baby because the baby was vomiting. Of course, I called the mother, and the mother was argumentative, because by this time it was 4 to 5, maybe 4 to 6 times that the school had called me because the baby kept getting sick from the toxic processed foods that the mother had been giving her. I picked up the baby and went to the natural food store to purchase clean foods. Anthony Williams talks about the fruits and the vegetables, to try to only get organic if you can. Anyway, so I did. I checked out at the supermarket with the baby, and the mother comes in asking the child what happened. Long story short, the mom took the baby. They got into the car. The mom started calling the cops on me. The cops came. I'm making this really short. The cops came. And by that time, you have to understand, and I think this is where we have a society that gets crazy and angry and does crazy things. We have metals on the brain, and that makes people go nutty. It makes them angry, forgetful, resentful. They do the craziest things. I watched my sister do the craziest thing with her daughter. I mean, my sister actually left her daughter in the street. I watched my niece, the way she handled the child. It was just unbelievable. I watched how they both changed for the worse on the food, the processed foods, and the chicken. The police officer came, and they asked me where was the baby. I told them the baby was in the mother's car. They proceeded to ask me, why did I go from point D to point A to pick up the child? I explained to the police officer what I was doing. They advised me that I should no longer do this person any favors because of the severity of the situation, how much trouble I could be in, and then they asked me, is it worth it? In Brain Saver book on page 60, Medical Medium speaks about everyone having a certain level of mercury in their organs, including in their brain. Having more viral cells means more opportunities to run across a small pocket of mercury inside the liver, spleen, pancreas, reproductive system, intestinal tract, heart, or brain. If someone is very low in mercury toxicity, it doesn't mean they won't get a dose of mercury exposure at some point that can feed a viral colony present in their body that's been supported by eggs. Once the viral colony consumes mercury, the viral cells are now excreting a powerful neurotoxin versus the milder neurotoxin they once had when the virus was feeding on gluten and eggs. This powerful neurotoxin forms of virus feeding on mercury is unlike other neurotoxins because mercury itself is neurotoxic. Once it's processed inside a viral cell, the structure of mercury is changed. It's transformed into methylmercury, meaning it's now composed of a smaller mercury particle that has the ability to enter every part of the human body with ease. This type of neurotoxin can saturate the brain, causing inflammation in different areas of the brain and result in a variety of symptoms. This is worse inflammation than the viral neurotoxins from the gluten. So that, let's go back. Mercury is not the only toxic substance that allows viral neurotoxins to become problematic. Let me repeat that. Mercury is not the only toxic substance that allows viral neurotoxins to become problematic. Any toxic heavy metal can suffice. Any solvent or chemical created for industrial use can create potential viral neurotoxins too, including plug-in air fresheners, hairspray, other hair products, colognes, perfumes, scented candles, conventional household cleaning supplies, conventional detergents, fabric softeners, dryers, fragrances, cosmetics, new toxic chemicals on fabrics, fungicides on new clothing and furniture, pesticides, herbicides, and gasoline fumes. All of these can provide fuel for viruses. To very toxic neurotoxins that create brain inflammation. That's what my nephew has. He doesn't think right. Anyway, my niece had to take the bamboo because she works at a hospital. And she became extremely sick. She had called me to pick her up from the emergency room. So, of course, I did. I picked her up. I could see her back she looked like a hunchback. I mean, I couldn't believe that the medical establishment, the hospital, didn't see this. So she went home. I told her what to do to try to eliminate the issue of the nausea and her not being able to focus. I gave her, she couldn't take the lemon water at first, so I consistently gave her celery juice. It was consistent celery juice all the time. I told her, don't lay down, don't bend down. If you have to go to the bathroom, try to keep your head above your chest because otherwise everything would come up. I knew this because I had it. When she took the bamboo, I was staying over at her place because by this time they had moved out. I was staying at her place to try to save gas and not go back and forth. I forgot to wear my mask one day, and I was helping her stand up. I forgot my mask, and I had the horrendous chest pain. I mean, all I did was stand next to her, and I felt like I would not make it. I literally had to pound on my chest to have the virus move to another part of the body. And of course, it did, causing me knee issues, brain issues, burning in my body, tics, itching, and a ton of other interesting symptoms. And let me tell you what I did. I actually pounded on my chest like this so the virus would move. Felt it in my body. I felt the lumps, the bumps. And if you want to feel it, all you have to do is raise your hand and push your thumb inside the skin. If you feel lumps or bumps, that is a sign of inflammation. You can do it with your scalp too. You can actually feel your scalp, and if there's bumps, if one side is bigger than the other, then you know there's a problem. You should have a smooth scalp. It should be a smooth scalp. You shouldn't have a lot of bumps or high-low road. It's nothing to get into fear about. It's to be aware, to make the appropriate choices you need to make the changes. Anyway, I picked up this person from the emergency room. Everything was swollen. Rub the tummy clockwise 3 times and then push it down toward the groin, and then counterclockwise 3 times and push it down toward the groin. And I just want to say, by the way, the medical medium is the first person to speak about the Epstein-Barr virus. AW states that the details matter, and I'm going to keep saying this, the details matter. You watch, observe, then assess and investigate. Don't even listen to me. Investigate, because I can assure you that if you change your food, you change your life forever. Anthony Williams, again, states, You need the clean, untattered supplements. I had clean supplements to get the food and liquid to pass through my throat into my esophagus. He called it Strept. So I used the 32 ounce of lemon water, the celery juice, and I use Vimergy. I use zinc because AW states that we're all short of zinc. So I use the zinc, I use the cat's claw, I use the lemon balm, I use the licorice, I use the heavy metal detox products, and that's all by Vimergy. I also use anything that's on AW's list, I use. And I also want to just let you know that your body talks to you. You just have to listen. Nobody knows your body like you do. And it talks all the time. Actually, there's a book about that, but I prefer to make sure you get AW's book, Brain Saver. And he also has Brain Saver Protocols, Cleanses, and Recipes. That's another great book. I am giving 5 of these away. So just 5, whoever can put in the comments who AW is. I'm giving it away because I think it's so important for people's health. I was in a state where I did not know what was wrong with me. And I was eating what I thought was healthy food. I was a vegetarian, I was exercising, and the weight would not come off. So that's why I'm doing this. I want everybody to be aware and to be in touch with their central nervous system. As AW says, we are not taught to be in touch with our central nervous systems. We're not taught to be in touch with our body, let alone our finances. No, they don't even teach us about our finances. So I think it's time for a change, for you to be your own doctor. Like AW says, you have to be your own doctor. AW states that we have been brainwashed and disconnected, and the industries like it. I say it's time for us to use some critical thinking. This is me saying this. I say it's time for us to use some critical thinking instead of allowing fear to dictate our choices. You never ever make a correct decision based on fear. Trust me, I know it. I've done it. It's a false expectation appearing real. It's an illusion. And medical medium secrets behind chronic and mystery illness. Illness and How to Finally Heal by Anthony Williams states on page 37. While your immune system is in a weakened state, that includes the blood draws, which makes the immune system weaker, Epstein-Barr can take advantage by leaving the organs it's been nesting in, by making a run for a different major organ or gland. It's most common for EBV to venture out from the liver. EBV is Epstein-Barr virus. To venture out from the liver, even if Epstein-Barr is also nesting in the spleen and or the reproductive organs. It's the liver that Epstein-Barr cells are likeliest to travel from when the immune system is lowered. The normal path for most of the over 60 varieties of Epstein-Barr virus is to head straight to the thyroid. Medical communities are not yet aware that Epstein-Barr is the actual cause of most thyroid disorders, especially Hashimoto's, but also Graves' thyroid cancer. And make sure that you put in the comments who AW is, and I will send you this book. I'm giving 5 away. So 5 of the brain savers. If you can put the first 5 people, if you can put who AW is in the comments, I will send this book out to you. Thank you so much for listening. And again, just be your own doctor. That's my suggestion to you. And my suggestion is the Vimergy products. They have the heavy metal detox, which consists of barley grass, spirulina. Now keep in mind, I know there's lots of spirulina out there, but keep in mind that there are hidden ingredients. Also to let you know that nothing has helped my illness except medical medium. No doctor could help my uncle, his lover, my sister, my mother, my father, my aunts, my boyfriend. I could go on and on and on. I am certain that my sister would be alive now if she was on medical medium protocol. No, I am not sponsored by medical medium, nor is the channel affiliated with medical medium, but his source comes from a place of integrity, a wealth of gratitude to AW. Medical medium goes out from me because he's has helped heal my chronic illness. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for medical medium. And I have to ask, does our government come from a place of integrity? Does our medical system come from a place of integrity? Remember, these words are made up by a medical community. Your prescription drugs are made up from a medical community. So check out all the references below and don't knock it till you try it. You have nothing to lose except a clean bill of health. Thank you again for listening. And again, the first 5 people who can put in the comments who AW is, I will send out this book.